In this video, I'm going to show you how the new SLA management experience works in HelpDesk of Easy Redmine Easy project. Now, before I start, I want to show you how it was in the old way. In the old way of working with SLAs, you would click on Update, you would choose an email where you want to send an email to, for example, test@test.com, click Send Email to Customer, click Save. You would choose a mail template, write the email, send email, and then at the end of the process still have to change the task status in order to fully affect the SLA and properly write down the new timestamps. However, in the new way, everything you need to do is just change the status. And if you have in your HelpDesk settings defined some email templates and associated them with certain statuses, and if you have the setting to send immediately active, then changing the status is everything that you need to do to successfully handle the SLA. Not only will it send the email by your preferred email template, but also affect the information about the SLA here on the task, as well as in dashboards and via API, where this information is also available. Now, what is this information? As you can see here, there's a whole new section about SLA information. You have the SLA title, you have the first response part and the resolution part of the SLA. And separately for each of those two parts, you have the SLA status, the remaining time, duration, deadline, and timestamp of when this part was successfully handled. The different statuses that exist are in progress, on hold, failed, or passed, and they are all colored differently for quick visual recognition. We have remaining time, which is going to be green as long as it's within time, or it can become negative and red when it's over time, and then the status will move to failed. You have duration, which basically tells you how much time has elapsed since the beginning of the ticket. Deadline, obviously the timestamp by when you need to handle it, and fulfilled will be the timestamp of by when you do handle it. And this little icon here basically tells you that the time that we're talking about here will respect the working calendar, therefore working days and hours that you define in the project SLA settings. So for example, if you have let's say still 3 hours to handle the SLA, it depends whether your working hours are ending soon or not. If it's 4 p.m. and your working hours end at 5 p.m., then you still have 1 hour today, and then next day you still have 2 hours. Or if it's absolute time, therefore not respecting working hours, then you just have 3 hours of that same day. Now, this information is all available here, but also down here there's going to be something which is the SLA events, currently unpopulated because we didn't do anything yet on this ticket. So let's go do something and show the life cycle of the ticket, so you will also see how this gets populated. So as we said, the old way was to use update and send email and the end change status, but now the new way is just to change the status. So let's see and put it just on assigned. I refresh, and if an email is associated with this status and send immediately is active, then an email was just sent according to that template. And here we see first response, which is basically the first change of the status. It was passed because we did it on time. And now you have the timestamp of when I did that action, handled the SLA. Obviously, resolution is still in progress. So let's try and see what it looks like if we need some more information from a client and we put this on a suspended status. So I refresh, and here we go. Resolution is now on hold, and the deadline is also on hold, while remaining time and duration remain frozen for the time being. If I move this back into returned by client, then the status is again in progress, and the deadline has been moved forward by the amount of time that this was paused on hold. And ultimately, I can just move this to a closed status. In this case, it's called done, and I refresh, And now the resolution SLA is passed as well, because we did that as well within time. Now, if I would change maybe here priority, a different SLA would apply and it would be recalculated. So maybe a different title would be here. We would, however, preserve any elapsed time in duration, and the passed or failed status would also stay. If, however, it's not passed or failed, then a different remaining time and a different deadline would be displayed according to the new SLA that applies to this ticket. And now if we scroll down here in SLA events, we will actually see all the relevant events that affected the SLA. We moved to assigned, it was active, on client was suspended, again active when returned by client, and we moved to a closed status, so the SLA was closed. The SLA response was already done, basically is the first change of status, therefore it was already here and stayed same throughout, of course. And the SLA resolve, it was not here because it wasn't resolved yet. The timestamp of resolution was written only when we moved to a closed status, and you have it here as well. Basically, a manager can look into this history here and see what happened with the SLA on a particular ticket. Otherwise, you have the view here, and that is the latest information which is available not only here but also via API, and soon also will be via dashboards as well, via the tasks entity, but more info on that in the next release. Thank you so much, and I hope this change will help you in your everyday work.